Well, good evening, everyone. I appreciate everyone who's joined us here tonight, from our media partners to the folks out in the community who have just been absolutely so wonderful. And if I can just say, and I don't have a script here, this is all coming from the heart, and I appreciate the support I've received from this community. It makes me a little emotional at times when I read the things that people sent me, the calls that I've received. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank this community for stepping up for me, and know that I will always be here for this community in return. I love Deltona, and the events of the past week, while certainly that initial event that we'll talk about here in a second was certainly very negative, homophobic, libelous, and certainly uncalled for, the reaction from the community really shows me why I picked Deltona to be my home, and why no matter what is thrown at me, I will not be leaving Deltona, and I'm going to be here for these residents and for as long as it takes, until they don't need me anymore. So my name is Nick Lulli. For those of you who don't know me, I know we have a lot of folks tuning in on Facebook. My name is N-I-C-K. My last name is spelled L-U-L-L-I. I am a Deltona resident. I'm a resident of District 6 in Deltona. And a little more than a week ago, I announced online that I was exploring a run for Deltona City Commission District 6. Now, that election is not until 2024. So this was certainly very early, but I wanted to make sure that folks out in our community understood what my intentions were, so that we were all out in the open and transparent, that they knew that they were talking to someone who was potentially interested in running for higher office when they were having those conversations with me. And I had not come to a final decision yet on what exactly my plans were going to be. And if I was satisfied with our current leadership. We still had plenty of time to go before I needed to officially register as a candidate. A little less than a week ago, last Wednesday on February 15th, Deltona City Commissioner Tom Burbank, early in the morning, pre-dawn, sought me out, my personal profile on Facebook, and left a disgusting, homophobic, and libelous comment on that announcement that I was exploring a run for Facebook. In fact, that initial post had been private until my aunt, who lives in Sanford, had asked me to make it public so she could share it with her friends that her nephew was doing something good right up the St. Johns River in Deltona. To say I was shocked was a complete understatement when I woke up, getting ready for work, getting ready to head to the Sunrail train to go into Orlando, when I read this man's comment. I had never met Tom Burbank. I'd never had a conversation with him. I didn't know him. He doesn't know me. I believe once he had handed me something in our commission chambers, a flyer that he prepared, and I said thank you. Other than that, I really didn't know this person. I had not heard of him until he was elected to the commission seat here in District 1 Deltona this past November. I think that's another important point to make as well, is that I am not even considering a run in his district. I don't live in District 1. I very clearly and very openly said that I'm running in District 6 because that's where I live. So this attack certainly came out of left field. Some of the comments, and I have them here, were absolutely outrageous. They were homophobic. This is a person, an elected official here in this city hall behind me, who described me as someone who's passed around in prison for sexual favors with inmates. I mean, this was completely outrageous for an elected official to be using that kind of language. And you know, the folks here, they wonder why residents are so angry and so upset when they come here to City Hall. It's because they've been dealing with stuff like this for years. Now, I certainly, as a former television news journalist and someone who works in local government communications consulting, I've never seen anything like this. The kind of language that was used here. I'm not even going to repeat it right now because it is so outrageous, and we have, underage folks who are watching our Facebook live feed here. If you want to see it, the comment is still up on my Facebook page if you choose to see it yourself. So tonight, I learned some other really shocking information as well. We know that Tom Burbank last week defamed me. I mean, this stuff is untrue. I don't even know him. There'd be no way for him to know if it was true. But, I did find some really interesting information in our city archives here that the city publishes requests for public records that citizens make. I found that a little more than a decade ago, Tom Burbank, who was a career staffer here at the city for a few years, was actually recommended for termination because he defamed his boss. That's what the city says. The city says that in their own records. So this is someone who has a history of defaming people, whether it's staff members here at the city or an innocent member of the public like myself. Now, there's a lot of people, we already have folks that are gathered right here off camera to my left there's going to be a lot of people who go into Deltona City Hall tonight and ask that this man, Commissioner Tom Burbank, resign his position as District 1 Commissioner, because this is no way that a commissioner should be acting. There should be no person on this dais who makes hate speech. That's what this is. I was attacked based on my sexual orientation, which I don't even lead with, among other things, and he does not know me. Folks out here are going to be asking for it, and I'm going to be asking tonight that Commissioner Tom Burbank immediately step down and resign his position as District 1 Commissioner here in the city of Deltona, because Deltona will not stand for hate. A lot of these people, and I'm going to be quite honest, I love them to death. A lot of these people, they don't even know me, but they know that I have goodness in my heart and that I have been working tirelessly to improve our city in whatever way I can, because I love Deltona. I've made my life in Deltona, and I've made investments in Deltona, and I certainly don't want to see the destruction of Deltona. So I hope our media partners can join us tonight inside City Hall, as all these residents here and many more to come demand that Commissioner Tom Burbank again resign. And we're going to ask for any and all possible solutions to get this man out of office. And so we'll probably be hearing a little bit more about that here in the coming days. Now, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
My understanding is that the only way that he can be taken out of office is if the governor does so. Correct me if I'm wrong. So how do you expect to accomplish that?
So there are certainly different paths that we can take to certainly reach out to the governor. I know these folks behind me are very passionate, so whether that takes letters to the governor or whether it takes letters to the Attorney General, I'm willing to go in all avenues. You know, before last Wednesday, I had nothing against Tom Burbank. I didn't even know him. But now, of course, I'm definitely going to make it my mission to ensure that this man is held accountable for his actions against me, because, you know, Gail, I'm not the only one who's dealing with things like this in this world, and there are children down the street in our schools who are experiencing hate in school, and I want to make sure that this man can't hurt them.
What, you said you're exploring the run for District 6. When are you going to make that official? And just so you know, he says it basically doesn't feel like that you have the true meaning at heart for the people of Deltona as far as what you're trying to do. Sure.
I don't know him. He doesn't know me, so I'm not sure how he'd be able to say that I don't have the people of Deltona in my heart. That's very...
Well, you're doing it for not the best reasons.
Oh, I would like to know what the reasons are. Then if he has any speculation, he's welcome to talk to me. He's never messaged me, asked me to explain my reasons why. I have nothing but goodness in my heart for these people. Certainly I'm a taxpayer. Certainly I've made an investment. I bought a home in our community. I beautified our community. I'm working with nonprofits in our community. So certainly I want to make Deltona a better place to everything work, live, and play. So I simply come to this mission with goodness in my heart. The voters can decide. As far as my next steps, you know, the next couple of months, I'm going to be talking to many of these folks here off camera, figuring out if this is something that they want to see happen, and if they do want some sort of change in District 6. I haven't committed one way or the other. So definitely I have an interest in serving our community. My record speaks for that.
You use the term libelous.
Sure.
Are you contemplating legal action?
Legal action, I'm not going to really discuss specifics tonight. I will say I'm not taking anything off the table.
When you first read these, what was going through your mind? Were you in shock? I mean, what?
Oh, absolutely. I'll give you that. I was 7 o'clock in the morning. I rolled out of bed, saw on my phone, it said, Tom Burbank has commented on your Facebook video. I said, oh, that's interesting. You know, I'm not friends with him. So I said, well, let me see what he said. Maybe it's words of support. I don't know. I didn't know him, so I really didn't know what to expect. I clicked that notification, and I basically fell the rest of the way out of bed because it was so shocking and just so outrageous. Homophobic, libelous, all the different adjectives we can use. He used a lot of adjectives about me in the post, which were, again, untrue, shocking, and grotesque. I mean, the community is outraged by this.
Also, too, speaking of libelous, when you become a candidate, you become a public figure. Public figures have a very, very high bar to prove libel.
Yes, sir. I am not a candidate for public office at this time. Of course, as you know, there is a standard to prove that there was malice done. I believe that regardless of my status as a candidate, he did have malice behind his words.
Besides the homophobic comment, he also, according to that, talked about you were, how do I say it without saying the words?
Yeah.
Basically just do stuff just for recognition or do stuff or pride rich people to get what you want or that kind of stuff.
I don't know anything about rich people. I don't know anything about any of that. The folks that are gathered out here tonight know that I've done videos for this community. I've performed work as a former television journalist. I have a skill set that I'm able to serve this community with information that sometimes we're lacking from inside City Hall. So all I've done is try to provide, again, a service to this community. I've been invited. I worked with not only our current mayor, but the mayor before that, in trying to make our city a better place. So certainly, I mean, I've approached this only with goodness in my heart. I mean, this is a person who, when he talked to the media about running, he said he's somewhat of a figure in the community. I mean, I think he's really projecting a lot of his own internal feelings back onto me. Those are really actually descriptions for himself.
So everything is not true, according to you. Emphatically, no on everything.
Yes, emphatically, I am not. I'll find some more of the tame ones. I'm not a bottom feeder. I'm certainly not an impulsive liar. I'm definitely not that thing that we're not going to say out loud because it's just so disgusting. I don't want children or anyone to hear it. So absolutely 100% deny.
Have you heard from any of the other commissioners?
Just for transparency's sake, I did receive an email over the weekend from Commissioner Jody Lee. He said he was not involved in it. And thank you actually for asking that question, because I did want to mention as well, Commissioner Tom Burbank in his disgusting post wrote that he said, used the pronoun we. We are looking into Nick Lulli. I'm very curious about who the we that he's referring to is. Is he using city staff to investigate a private citizen? Is he working with fellow commissioners in violation of the Sunshine Act? We already know Commissioner Burbank violates the Sunshine Act. According to the city records, he was emailing fellow commissioners trying to debate legislation that might come up before the commission. So when I read that, that's certainly what my mind went to first, because we know that this is something this man has done before.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you again for folks for coming out. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate your support. And again, this really shows me why Deltona is a great place to live.
One question. Did you file an ethics complaint?
That is certainly in the works. Yes. The gentleman asked if I filed an ethics complaint. Ethics complaints are very targeted based on specific things. I'm in the process of identifying the exact items that were broken, and I'm in the process of crafting that right now.
What state laws do you believe may have been broken here?
Well, certainly in Florida, defamation and libel, slander and libel is a criminal statute that can be broken in Florida. This is not just a civil matter. I believe that in this case, libel was committed. And I'm going to be looking into some of the other potentially federal crimes as well, if there's any sort of hate crime element.
I always
Absolutely.
understood libel to be a civil matter. Can you give us that? Can you give a cite for a criminal?
I don't have the number in front of me. I could look it up real quick on my phone if you'd like, but it's in Florida. Libel is a criminal infraction, yes.
I'd be interested to see that.
Sure. If anyone wants to pull up the Florida statute for libel, it's crime, criminal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.